Afternoon, everybody. Jake here, Nunya, Texas on the back 20. Just wanted to give a shout out to one of my fellow YouTubers. I don't do this very often simply because I'm not very good at it. But the guys over at MB Heritage, Michael and Billy Jean, them are some great folks over there. If you're into gardening, around the homestead, chicken, stuff like that, these are some people you really need to check out. Michael has probably forgotten more about gardening than I will actually ever know. So they got lots of good information on their channel about homesteading and gardening, just all kinds of good stuff. Great family, good people, good channel, good information. I really can't believe these guys are below 1,000 subs. They should be well over 100,000 by this point. So y'all go by and check out MB Heritage. They're great all the way around, and I wanted to show those guys some support. Tell them I sent you over there if you could. I'd appreciate it. Now, what I got for you today is a couple of things. I just wanted to throw that shout out for MB because we made some of his Chow Chow off of a recipe that was on their channel. And it is simply delicious, guys. I would highly recommend that you go check it out. Again, it's going to be a Chow Chow recipe on MB Heritage's page on his channel. Now, what we're actually going to can up for you today is a ripe tomato relish. And it actually comes back from the 1960s from President LBJ's wife. She used to print stuff in the local newspaper, used to print some of her recipes for her home canning. Of course, back then, you know, things were a little different, and the president's wife still cooked. So they printed some of her recipes in the newspaper, and this ripe tomato relish actually is her recipe from the 60s. I would highly recommend that you write it down and pay attention and keep up with this recipe because it is a good one. All right, here we go, guys. And again, go check out MB. Great channel. Okay, morning everybody. What I'm going to show you here is a recipe for ripe tomato relish. This recipe comes from the 60s from President Johnson's wife, Lady Bird Johnson, here in Texas. And I don't know if you can read this or not, but this is the actual recipe. Yeah, I don't know if you can read that. I'll try and add it to the video, exactly what it is. But you can read that writing right there. This was printed in the, I don't know, early 60s in a newspaper. They used to print Lady Bird Johnson's home recipes in the newspaper, and this recipe came from that. These are ingredients here. And of course, pick your stuff out of the garden. Cook down your tomatoes, skin them, cut them up, and we're going to add the rest of these ingredients here as we cook in. And I'll show you what we get. But this is basically what it comes out to be. And this stuff is good enough that you can just eat it straight out of the jar like it is. But it's good for spaghetti, meatloaf, goulash, any tomato-based recipe that calls for that kind of sauce. It's wonderful. Here's some of MB Heritage's Chow Chow recipe. We got this from MB Heritage Farms, the recipe, and it is delicious. And what we did for our taste is we added a little crushed red pepper, some jalapenos, and made it a little spicier. And I'm probably going to send a jar of this to MB. He said he'd like something a little spicier, so I may send him a jar of this just to say thanks and appreciation for sharing the recipe. So I'll be back with you guys when the process continues here. But you can see all the Chow Chow jars that we've been canning up here from the garden. All Alright guys, we'll be back. Oh, here's some of the little onions that came out of the garden as well. Alright, we'll be back in a minute.
Get bigger.
Alright, here's everything in the pot here. And basically once you get all your ingredients in this, you cook it for an hour. And then add it to your jars and water bath it for about 10 minutes. But let me go over this recipe here for you, because it is wonderful. And again, this is from Lady Bird Johnson, President Johnson's wife. And this is the real deal. I'm not sure of the year, but it was printed in the newspaper back in the 60s. So this is ripe tomato relish, all right? First ingredient, 1 gallon of ripe tomatoes. 2 cups of chopped onions. We got 1 cup of chopped green pepper, bell pepper. You want to add hot pepper to your taste. I prefer it a little more spicy, but some other people don't, so it's hot pepper to your taste. Is that black pepper or jalapeno pepper?
Black coarse pepper. Black
coarse pepper to your taste. We have 1/4 cup of white vinegar. We have 1/2 cup of sugar. Sorry, I'm getting off. Can't see. 1/4 cup of vinegar, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. The original recipe called for 3 tablespoons of seasonal salt, but it was a little salty, so we cut it back to 2. I don't know if you can see that on there or not. Yeah, we cut it back to 2 on the seasonal salt. 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Again, I guess that's added to the hot pepper to taste. It did call for 2, and we cut it to 1. Again, I prefer it a little hot, so it's going to be to your taste. 1 tablespoon of regular table salt. Mix all this in a big pot. Simmer it for 1 hour. Pour it into hot jars with the lid. Be sure and clean your rings up there on the top before you put your lid on. And then you want to water bath it for 10 minutes. After you water bath it for 10 minutes, pull it out, let it cool, and it actually needs to sit for a couple of weeks for it to be the best. But it is delicious right out of the jar. Alright, so there's your recipe. You're going to want to save this one, I guarantee it. Alright, and again, I'll try and put this in the video. I just want to make sure you get it. Alright, save it guys, it's worth it. Alright guys, this is about 50 minutes in here. As you can see, everything's cooked down really well. Bell peppers, onions, tomatoes. It's made a really thick, nice paste in there. Surely a moment when we need smell-o-vision. That stuff right there is delicious. Alright, we'll get back with you when we start putting it in jars. Alright.